am I? Where am I? Dang, why do they keep doing? Why do they do this sometimes? Welcome, my lovely goblins and ghouls of the internet. I'm Wanda, your demon cinephile, and tonight we are going back for more Higurashi. The time wasting, time killing, whatever the chapter's name is. the prequel chapter, where we learn more about the town and the things. It's kind of weird. The anime version doesn't adapt this to like the second season, which is technically supposed to be part of the answer arcs, but the anime does a bunch of weird winky things with the adaptation. But now, how's everybody's day going so far? Good day, bad day, awesome day, sucky day. Give me a second, let me get the game up and running. Oh, the heck? Game automatically went full screen on me. That's weird. Never happened before. Not that mind. Oh, we get opening. We get opening, guys. Let's watch it. Where is it? Ooh, so pretty. The VOD's gonna probably be copyrighted when we put on YouTube. Welcome to Hinamizawa. Arita! She's so cute. Oh no. Satoshi! Ever first time I see Satoshi in the VN. I think we get to see a little bit more Satoshi next chapter. And those are the side story characters. I don't know how to play the side story games without getting them questionably. What was that supposed to be? Ooh. Oh, that's mine. Oh. All these different fragments and timelines. Who's getting married? No, I don't think I know that fragment. And there's the cries of the Higurashi that we come to love and hate so much. Let me see if I can minimize the screen like so. It's not really working. It's not gonna work when we do that either. Let's load that. Alright, so last time we were here, we were playing our good boy Akaza. What's our Akaza? Oh, remember in a second. The not police officer, he's from like the Public Safety Commission. So I'm guessing like a police officer? I'm not exactly sure. Sent from Tokyo to investigate the Hinamizawa fighters, the people who are kind of why can't I talk? The people who are trying to stop the government from building the dam. He's here to investigate, see if they had anything to do with the kidnapping of the grandson of someone who works at the Ministry of Construction. He's posing as a tourist to get lay about the land, and he encountered a young Rika. This takes place in 79, so this is the 5 years before everything happens, and all the other timelines we visited. At first, I was only realizing the shutter as part of my tourist act, but midway through, I found myself taking pictures out of pure interest. Tourist traps had their own unique allure to them, but there was nothing like that here. I was especially captivated by the unspoiled nature of the place. If there wasn't that whole uproar over the dam, I would want to bring Yuki with me here some other time. I wanted her to breathe in this fresh air, as well as show her this rejuvenating, variant scenery. Is something like this that interesting? You're a strange person, Akasa. No, these central mailboxes are pretty rare nowadays. They have a certain nostalgic air about them. You wouldn't know what to think. They're elegant, would you? Is Hinamizawa fun? Yeah, it's fun. When she's discharged from the hospital, I'd like to bring my wife here at least once. With the child that will be born at that time. Hmm? She's due any day now. It'd be nice if they were a cute girl like you. Sir, seems like congratulations are soon to be in order. Still, that's not good. Do leave your wife behind and play around in a place like this? I gave yourself away. I was momentarily at a loss for words. It was exactly how Makino said. There was no good reason for a man who was waiting for his wife to give birth to be playing around idly in this place. Did I slip up? Well, we already planned this trip to Hinamizawa a long time ago. My wife's family is with her, so it's alright. If you had this plan so far in advance, then how come you didn't make the sign a deadline for the nature watching? If you did, you could have toured around on a nice bus instead of being cramped up in here. It didn't seem as Makino was actually digging for anything. But if this conversation continued any longer, it would put some unexpected holes in my cover. I halted the conversation by pretending to take another picture. Oh, okay, where's that? It was slightly before evening. The sun was still burning brightly, but a cool breeze had begun to mix itself into the air. It seemed my exploration of Hinamizawa with Rika-chan was just about done. The place with the best view? Well, Rika-chama, where else could it be but the view from around the shrine? Hearing that, Rika-chan smiled even more. Huh? By Rika-chan's home, you mean, the shrine. Furude Shrine. There was an observatory platform. You can see some real pretty scenery. Shrine. The girl who called Furude Shrine her home, Rika. If I remember correctly, her full name was Rika Furude. And Furude was, that's right, one of the three families. Even if the Sanzaki family is said to hold all the actual power, it was still one of the old houses that held some authority. No, more important than that right now was Furude's shrine. If I remember correctly, she had told me, within the grounds of the Furude shrine, there were the offices of the Onifuguchi Guardians. And since the land around Furude's shrine were private property, the police couldn't set foot there heedlessly. Furude's shrine, where even she couldn't simply set foot into. The main house, the main base of operations for the Onifuguchi Guardians. I had been given the unexpected opportunity to enter there. I couldn't have asked for more. I'm looking forward to it. Please, if you would. Well then, let's get there quick. The weather seems to be getting a little iffy. The sky had suddenly become overcast. It wouldn't be odd if it started raining soon. The cicadas, as if trying to finish their daily allotment of chirps before the evening, cried out even more feverishly. That was the end of the chapter break. Animation started here. Oh, you're so close. I probably was stopped here last time. The van stopped in the shrine's parking lot. Also parked there were numerous other vans with loudspeakers mounted on the top of them to act as makeshift propaganda vehicles. On the other side, each vehicle scrawled, "The dam project must be demolished. Defend our homeland to the last. No Oyashiro-sama's anger." Or a slogan of similar kind. It gave the feeling that even without using the loudspeakers, there was enough to overwhelm any onlookers. Vertical banners were erected in various places. The contents of those banners were similar. They were all objections against the dam, or crude insults towards the government. They were horizontal banners, placards, and so on and so forth. They proclaimed that, without a doubt, this was the headquarters of the Onifuguchi Guardians. For Rika-chan, however, this hectic place was also her home. We've arrived! I know! Rika-chan crawled over my lap and exited the vehicle first. Makino had noticed that I was looking at protest banners. The shrine also has the officers of the anti-dam movement. For you, this probably brings back memories of the anti-security treaty conflicts back in the day. Student movements against government policies, movements that border on terrorist activity, were at one time commonplace, if only held in order to garner global attention. Students holding out in lecture halls, brawling with the riot squads that charged in. It was an age where wasting one's youth like that was widely considered a road to glory. It was slightly before my time. I'm not really an activist or anything. I studied without incident and graduated without incident. I don't really agree with the violence or occupants they use to protest the government policies. Is that gonna make him mad? Oh, you have quite the nice opinion there. If you have an opinion on a policy, vote for the candidates who share your view, or enter the political world yourself. Insert your beliefs in a lawful manner. That is the foundation of democracy. I don't think that's something you should challenge with violence. For a youngin, you have some fine beliefs. I saw that feeling of respect reflected in Makino's gaze. At that moment, something tugged on my sleeve. I have no idea what Akasa is saying. Rika-chan, feeling like she was the only one who didn't understand the conversation, had a look of displeasure on her face. That expression was so charming, I had to keep myself from grinning like an idiot. It's often that a father wants to spoil his daughter rotten. I think I understood that feeling very well. Sorry. It was a little hard for Rika-chan to understand, wasn't it? Japan is a peaceful country, so you have to argue your point in a peaceful manner. You shouldn't resort to violence, in other words. No matter how much I explained, a girl who was just boasting about being able to carry digits over when adding things probably wouldn't understand. It probably wasn't something to talk about in front of Rika-chan anyway. Oh no. Oh no. Oh god. She's already, very, wise beyond her age. Even if I regretted my careless words, it was too late now. Here I was, at the main headquarters of an organization, telling them their way of doing things was illegal. Preaching that violence was not the answer. A complicated feeling had mixed itself with the respect in Makino's gaze. It was then I finally realized it wasn't that simple. There wasn't a soul who would argue that what I was saying wasn't correct. Using violence to get one's way was something that everybody knew you shouldn't be proud of. However, right now, Hinamizawa was in a predicament that couldn't be overcome with peaceful means alone. They gallowed to get the Hinamizawa Dam project, though the efforts of the various propaganda campaigns enacted by the Omofukuchi Guardians was being called into question. If they further strengthened their campaign, they might be able to suspend or change their construction plans. But that was at the most just a possibility. If the government proceeded... Sorry, take a drink. If the government proceeded with the construction as planned, it wouldn't be long before this place was at the bottom of a lake. If it wasn't for the unrestrained resistance of the residents of... Wait, what? If it wasn't for the unrestrained resistance of the residents of Hinamizawa, this place might already have been underwater. We can't live anywhere else other than here. We can't live in the city. The words of this remarkable young girl were all too accurate, carrying with them the screams of the hearts and minds of the residents of Hinamizawa. Of course, there was nothing I could say to respond to that. I could only respond to Makino and Rika-chan's heavy words with silence. Sorry. This isn't a problem that an outsider should likely just poke their nose in, is it? I apologize. Makino, unsure how to reply for a while, could only laugh pointlessly. It's nothing that concerns guests that make their home somewhere else. If you enjoy it here, Please, tell all your friends that Hinamizawa is a wonderful place. Please. It will spread to dozens, maybe even hundreds of people. And that ridiculous plan to submerge this place at the foot of a dam will eventually fall apart. He followed with a smile that said, please don't think much of it. Makino, letting me not worry that much really was a stroke of good fortune. Becoming infatuated with the idea of making friends with a little girl had made me completely forget my apparition at being an enemy territory. Being reminded of this right before I was going to step foot into their headquarters might have been a good thing. If we had this exchange in the middle of their office, if there was a short-tempered youth in there, they might have come at me. Thinking how extreme they were, in the worst case, my life could have been in danger. It seemed that I looked quite despondent at that moment. Makino, thinking he said something wrong, became flustered, trying to think of a way to improve my mood. I was a bit careless just now. I'm very sorry. No, don't worry that much about it. The sights you showed me around the village were all beautiful, wonderful places. I really do want to come here one more time. If this beautiful village is going to be submerged at the bottom of the lake, I can't understand why you would want to fight so desperately. I had somehow managed to use my despondent look to change the topic in my favor. After a bit, Makino had returned to his usual high spirits. It seemed he believed I completely sympathized with his point of view. Now. Let's leave the talk at that for now. There's a place around here with a really great view. Let's go, Akasa. Rika-chan, seemingly happy to be free from all the boring and gloomy adult talk, bounced up the stone steps. Up, she bounced. There was no real need to run, but in order to catch up with her, I also darted up the steps. Oh god, not that place. There were several of those tents belonging to the town council, erected on the shrine grounds. Inside the tents were several folding tables and chairs, and a number of the older town council members were livening up things with chit-chat. They weren't saying anything incredible like, the damn project must be destroyed. It was more relaxed, idle chit-chat between local geezers. The normal sort of calming serenity. Scenery. Ooh! What's his name? Rainy days. At the entrance of a shed that looked like a meeting place, there was a large sign erected with Onikafuchi Guardians Headquarters, written in bold brush strokes. That was their base of operations? To be honest, it was a bit of a letdown. If you ask what I had been imagining, it was a bit embarrassing, but I thought it would be something much more dramatic, with barbed wire fences and barricades. My first impression of this place, though, was completely different from that. It looked like a simple backwater town hall. It didn't look like anything other than that. Exactly that. The old folks who were chatting had noticed Rika-chan's presence. Well, isn't it Rika-chama? It's time for little kids to head on home. This is my home. The old folks scoffed, since she wasn't wrong. From that exchange, I could tell that this Rika Fude girl was loved by everybody. Oh, if I get to see him! Mayor Kimiyoshi! Makino-san! Who's that? The tourist who phoned? That's right! This is the mayor of Hinamizawa, Mayor Kimiyoshi. He smiled brightly, but there was no mistaking he would be scary if he got angry. By the looks of things, this old man was the president of the Onifikuchi Guardians, none other than Kichiro Kimiyoshi himself. Welcome to Hinamizawa. What do you think? It's a very quiet and relaxing place, isn't it? Yeah. I was able to appreciate a multitude of beautiful places throughout the whole day. I'm thankful for being granted this rare opportunity. Even though you're one of those youngins, you're quite the gentleman. Kichiro? I want to show Akasa a cool place. Thinking that the formality between myself and the mayor had gone on for too long, Rika-chan butted into the conversation. For her to call the mayor by his first name, I felt it was a little strange, but none of the villagers seemed to mind. A girl of the Furude household, one of the 3 families. She's probably different than the average villager. Akasa, over here? Rika-chan tugged at my sleeve. Not resisting, I allowed for myself to be pulled over, and waiting for me was a magnificent view. Ah, the one we see all the time. It is a great shot. I keep saying shot, like that he actually captured. It was good. This is painted nicely. It was drawn well. It was an observation deck that lowered down on that looked down on the village. They, knowing that this was the best view in the entire village, kept quiet as I stood there, awestruck. I was holding a camera, but had completely forgotten to even glance through the viewfinder. This view, no matter what kind of film it was printed on, it wouldn't be able to show everything. If there was a way to explain it, it would only be what I would be able to put into words. It was just such a breathtaking, spectacular view that I struggled to find a comparison. For a while, I was left awestruck. I could only stand there in wonder. A cool breeze helped abate the heat rushing through my body. That comfortable sensation also left me speechless. Rika-chan, who had been holding onto my sleeve the entire time, spoke. This is my favorite spot. As she said that, she showed me another adorable smile. That smile seemed very fleeting. If you ask why, that's because the view from her favorite spot would eventually be submerged under the deep green waters of the dam reservoir. I just can't believe that this village is going to end up at the bottom of a lake. I said it quietly, so that only Rika-chan could hear it. I regretted it as soon as I spoke. Oh, hello, Kongs! How are you? Sorry, I had the chat on my phone and it was at the side. And maybe I can put it right here. Let me unplug it. And you can put it... Yeah, put chat right there. I glance down every now and again. Yeah, but hello, how you doing tonight? and get a drink. For those words were all too cruel. Everything's awesome? That's great! Everything is awesome! That's good to hear. Today was a good day for us too. Yay, dancing day now! Cause everything is awesome! Everything is cool when you're part of the team. Everything is awesome! I don't remember the rest. However, Rika-chan didn't let them cast a cloud on her expression. In fact, she replied with a smile. It will sink. The dam project will eventually go away. It was just like a little girl to say something like that. There was no basis for her saying so. It was just her wish. Akaza, do you think that this village will be submerged? It's not that I want it to be. I knew how important the dam was. I knew that it was necessary. I didn't want to recognize the sacrifices that would be made. I agreed with the project in general, but couldn't agree with some of the details. But if it meant that this girl's beloved scenery wouldn't be taken away from her, I might be able to object to the dam. I might be able to ignore the interests of the nation, the development of Japan, all for the sake of one girl's smile. I'm not really much of a humanist, but how sentimental of me. It won't be submerged, because the dam project will soon go away. Her words weren't just hopes and dreams, but were seasoned with a hint of resolve. As if she was talking about an unchangeable, permanent outcome. As surely as the sun was rising in the east. It'll be gone soon? Waiting for her to ask, wanting to ask her why she believed that, I turned around. Yes. It'll be gone. What makes you say that? Well, you see, she seemed to want to answer, but as though unable to find the right words, she swallowed back what she was about to say. Regardless of what Akasa does, the dam project will end this year. It's already been decided. That was a lie. If something like that had already been decided, then the Oniguchi Guardians, would have no reason to continue existing. From my point of view, it was like they were doing nothing more than throwing themselves into endless battle. If they knew the dam project was cancelled, it would feel much more relaxed around here. This village, though, could hardly be called relaxed. For evidence of that, I just had to remember how charged the atmosphere was at the checkpoint, or at the bus station. The villagers, with their misplaced resolve, were still fighting. And this girl, even knowing the villagers' grim resolve, had already declared their victory. The villagers throwing themselves into this endless war, and this opportunistic girl who said they had already won. Contrast was something strange. If you know something that makes you confident, you can tell me. Rika-chan stayed silent for a while, seemingly choosing what to say. Because.
だって
Because she looked like she was lost on whether she would, on whether she could continue or not. As if she was troubled on whether it was okay for her to say it. That kind of expression.
決まっていることなのです。
Already been decided.
他に言いようがないので
There's
す
no
よ。
other way to say it.
決まっているって
It's already been decided, huh?
だって
It really is just like a little girl to say something like that. I couldn't believe it was actually true. She was the only one saying such things with such confidence. My real mission, that I had forgotten about during this fun-filled day, resurfaced at the back of my mind. The kidnapping of the minister's grandson. Had the Higurashi Guardians kidnapped the minister's grandson and already succeeded in negotiating to cancel the dam project? Did Kimiyoshi actually know? Already know know that it was just plain dumb? What was that? What was that? What was that? What this girl was really telling me?
赤坂、
Akasaka. The girl called out my name suddenly.
なんだい
What is it?
東京へ帰れ。
Ugh. Go back to Tokyo. Huh? I wasn't only surprised at the sudden command. Ever since I came to this village, I had never once mentioned I was from Tokyo. Well, based off my accent, she might have been able to guess where I was from. What was I getting so worked up over? It was probably the sudden and complete change in her demeanor.
あなたはさっさと東京に帰った方がいい。
Oh no, that voice. I know who that is. That voice. You should definitely go back to Tokyo. Right now.
でないと
If not,
後悔す
you
る
will
ことになる。
woefully regret it. The girl had been holding my sleeve the entire time. She'd been tugging at my sleeve since hurriedly dragging me over to show me this wonderful view. But this was the adorable Rika-chan, who I spent the entire day with? There's no way she could have been replaced with a doppelganger when I wasn't looking. Had she been holding onto my sleeve this entire time? But somehow this girl, she was someone other than Rika-chan. She looked like Rika-chan, but she wasn't. She was some girl I'd never met before. That girl had told me in an indifferent voice that I would eventually regret coming to this village from the bottom of my heart.
それがあまりにもみすぼらしくて
That would
気
be
の毒な姿だから
that would be an incredibly pathetic thing to see.
今のうち
So
から
I
報告してあ
so I
げていい
warn you
の
right
です。
now.
どうして
Why
私が後悔することになる
would I come to regret it?
いちいちうるさいな。
Oh! Stop. Stop whining. My god. You're such a pathetic little mortal, are you? I know, her little other personalities coming out, isn't it? I think this is the first time we've seen it in the VN. Well, no, there's that one part in Watchnagashi. I couldn't believe that I was hearing such cold words come from Rika-chan's mouth. I just couldn't believe it. Was somebody impersonating her? Using her ventriloquism or something? Ventriloquism. Thinking that, I wanted to take a look around, but the girl's gaze had me pinned down, making me unable to move.
あなたの親はあなたが赤信号の横断歩道の真ん中
When
に
you
いた
tried crossing the road,
どうして
when the don't walk sign was
全
up,
部説明し終え
did
る
your parents finish explaining why it was dangerous before pulling you back to the sidewalk? I think they did. I don't know. That was such a long time ago.
引っ張るでしょ
They pulled you back right away, right? Wouldn't they?
まず歩道ま
They
で
pull you
連れ
back
戻して
before explaining
な
why
ぜ
it was
危険なの
dangerous.
かを解くでしょ
Wouldn't they? More likely.
つまりはそういうこと
In other words, it was something like that. The girl I spent time with, Rika Furude, would not speak like that. She would speak with a cuteness befitting her age, with brief, childish remarks, expressing her emotions honestly. She definitely wouldn't speak with such pointed words.
警告はした
I've warned you.
勘違いしないで
Don't
ほし
get
い
the wrong idea. It's not like I'm saying this
あなた
because I
は
hate
嫌い
you.
だからこういうことを言ってるわけじゃないってこと死んでもいい
You don't need to tell somebody who's better off dead that they're in danger. Who
君は
are you?
リカちゃんじゃ
You're not Rika-chan.
ない
Hmm? Oh god, that smirk! Oh, I know that smugness anywhere. I know that smugness. No, no. As soon as I accuse her of not being Rika-chan, she let out a strange, quiet giggle. It was not a laugh. It was a laugh not befitting a child her age. I keep hitting screenshots because this is so awesome. It was like she was possessed by something. Her change was just that total and complete. Was Rika-chan being attacked by some terrifying phenomenon? That cult idea came back to mind without any sort of hesitation. Rika-chan is acting strange. Somebody. Help. Thinking that I yelled that, I turned to where the mayor was. I immediately realized he was looking at us with a smile. That's right. To him, it looked like nothing more than me and Rika-chan fooling around. He didn't notice that there was something terrifying happening to her.
赤坂の怖がり
Akasa is such a coward. The girl had obviously gasped that I was afraid. Noticing that and calling me a coward, she laughed again. That cackling girl approaching me in a strange manner while still laughing lost her balance and fell flat on her face. Oh, Lady Burncastle. Rika-chan fell down. It was just a while before I would extend a hand to help her up without hesitation. But now, extending a hand to this ominous girl who looked like Rika-chan but wasn't required a bit more courage than I had at the moment. Oh no, okay, she's back to normal, guys. She's back to normal. The girl cried out thus. She then squirmed upright and dusted herself off. Afterwards, she looked around recklessly as a blank expression crept across her face. You've gotta be kidding me. Was she making fun of me? That way of acting? It was as though, after being possessed by something, she lost her memories of what happened.
冗談だろ
You're joking. Right, Rika-chan?
リカ
Rika-chan?
ちゃん
Me.
Me. I don't know if Rika-chan had heard me or not. She just cried out like that, as if questioning herself.
お客人
Now, who's that?
リカちゃまもお茶が入りましたよ
Oh, tea's ready! Okay, guys, let's go get our tea.
塩大福もあるからにぜひ食ってきんさいな
I just ate, but you know, I'm not someone to turn down a meal. An old lady wearing a smock was weaving energetically from the entrance of the office. Hearing that there were snacks, Rika-chan's expression changed.
はーいなのです
A carefree smile. That was a familiar smile, the one that belonged to the embodiment of my ideal daughter. Any hint of the creepy girl that was just there, spouting sinister words, had vanished.
ほらリカ
Come on, Rika-chama.
手を洗ってきんさい
Wash your hands first.
バッチを
There
見
aren't
てに
any
は食わせるまい
manju here for your dirty hands.
ちゃんと洗いますですよ
I'll wash them real good.
み
Me. Rika-chan responded with vigor, running off to the washing station that was along the side of the office. She stopped halfway, turning around to call to me.
早く来ないから
Akasaka?
赤坂の分までおまんじゅうが食べられて
Akasaka?
ホクホクなのです
Oh. If Akasaka doesn't hurry up, I'll eat his share of manju too. They're steaming fresh.
お手手を洗わない人
People
は
who don't wash their
おまん
hands
じゅう
are
が
allowed to
食べ
eat
られない
any
のです
manju.
よ
No matter how you looked at it, that was Rika-chan. Those words and the way she said them, no matter how you heard them, they were definitely Rika-chan's. Good night, now, mister. You're the adult here, so show her how it's
してや
done.
ってくださいな
The old lady urged me to wash my hands. Without any hesitation, without any resistance, I ended up beside Rika-chan at the wash station. Splish splash! I stared at Rika-chan, intent on washing her hands properly, like she had probably learned at school.
み
Me,
間違っていますか
did I do something wrong? But
間違え
wrong, you mean
僕のお手手の洗い
how
方
I'm
です
washing my hands?
金シールを4個しかも
I
ら
only
った
got
こと
4
ないです
stickers for it.
僕はお手手を洗う
I
の
am
が
probably
気
bad
が
at
気
washing
な
my
のですよ
hands.
間違ってなんかないよ
You're not doing anything wrong.
それだけしっか
If
り
you're
洗えたら
washing them that carefully, that's more than enough.
それだけではダメな
But
のです
it's
よ
not Akasaka.
ちゃんとたわ
If you
しを
don't wash,
使って
use a brush and clean out the dirt underneath your fingernails, you won't get a gold sticker. Mm,
リカちゃんは真面目で
Rika-chan, you're very diligent. That's something to be proud of.
ニパ
Nipa!
ー赤坂に褒めら
I
れ
was
て
praised by Akasaka! No matter how you looked at it, it was Rika-chan. There was no trace of that girl from before. Exactly. What was that sinister girl?
リカちゃんさっきの
What's the
あれは
meaning of what just
どういう
happened
意味だい
just now?
うん
Hmm?
さっきリカちゃんは
Just
私に
now, you told me
東京へ帰
to
る
go back to Tokyo,
そう
didn't
言っ
you?
ただろ
言いましたのですか
Did I say that? I was at a loss for words. She didn't remember what that girl just now said. Like I would ever believe something as a cult that could happen. Like I would ever believe that Rika-chan could be possessed by that strange girl and say those creepy things.
リカちゃんが確かに
You
そう言ったよ
definitely said that.
み
Me. Her expression told me that. Despite my saying so, she had no idea. She wasn't playing dumb. She actually didn't know. Exactly. What was that just now? Just as Rika-chan had, I let out a confused expression, creeped across my face. The two of us, both looking like we had no idea what was going on, must have certainly been a humorous sight to behold. While partaking of tea and snacks, I was shown a propaganda film, shot by the Guardians, that highlighted their resistance efforts. Older folks talked passionately on how long and grueling the fight against the dam was, but they fell on deaf ears. I was transfixed by Rika-chan, who had heard these stories countless times before, and was nodding off. Eventually, Rika-chan noticed I was staring at her, and smiled as she rubbed her eyes. That smile was Rika-chan's, after all. There was no hint of that sinister shadow. After that, my unreasonable fear of Rika-chan lessened with the passing time. But I could by no means forget what had happened. It eventually grew dark. The mayor said that they had prepared dinner, but I said I could come again tomorrow and took my leave. I had to return to the hotel and file my regular report with the section chief. I see. Well then, please come again tomorrow. If you have a phone, we'll send somebody to pick you up right away. I appreciate your hospitality. I'll probably come again and enjoy myself tomorrow. Yes, please do. It seems that Rika-chama, has taken a pretty big liking to you. Akasa, are you coming again tomorrow? I finish after 5th period, so if you come around 3 o'clock, it will make me happy. Please come again. The pure smile urged me on to do so. There wasn't a trace of that evil aura. Depending on what happened next, all of them might end up as nothing other than my hallucination. Thinking about it logically, if the daughter of the Furude household, one of the 3 families, had taken a liking to me, then this was a strong foothold for my investigation from here on out. It was like a free ticket for a reason to visit Hinamizawa. If only I could treat that little incident as a figment of my imagination, then having this girl, who was the embodiment of my ideal daughter, grow so attached to me wasn't bad either. I had successfully dove into the belly of the Onifuguchi Guardians. It had the mayor as well as other important members of the alliance welcome me with open arms. Let's get. Give me a quick little. Get up real quick. Turn the air on. Close this vent. Alright, there we go. Now where was I? I successfully dove into the belly of the Onifuguchi Guardians, and had the mayor as well as other important members of the alliance welcome me with open arms. This was a great turn of events. However, I still felt uneasy. Getting back to the hotel, I forced down an almost painfully cold beer until I could clear my mind. The shock from the incomparably strange incident continued to torment me. What happened? Okay, the chapter break. Just Rika just staring at you. Oh, we got 4 tips. Oh my goodness. Alright. So let's view the new tips. So what we got? Going smoothly. Why I like rainy days. I like rainy days. Barley tea and black tea in a millstone. Oh my goodness, that's supposed to be like little Shion or Mion. Oh my goodness, she looks so adorable. Alright, let's go. First one. Going smoothly. The sound of a car grew closer, followed by the sound of it breaking. Let's say barking. As the engine cut out. At that moment, his up until now lactocile footsteps grew decisive as the man in the room dashed up to the wall beside the window and carefully peered inside. It was his comrade's car. Even so, he still didn't relax his guard. Eventually, the sound of footsteps approached the door. Thump, 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 thump. Oh, more like. It was a passcode. Open the door already. You must be tired. I'm opening it now. After the locks were undone and the door opened, a man appeared, his arms laden with swollen plastic grocery bags. The bags in his hand had Sevens marked, written on them, with bread milk cartons able to glimpse within. The contents of those bags were then spread out over a sheet on the floor. I brought some cup noodles, so go on, boil some water. What's the kid doing? Hmm? Oh, it's the kidnappers! He's been sleeping the entire time. Thank God he's not causing any trouble. He did struggle a bit when he was about to he's about to shit himself. Don't let him crap his pants. I'll be stuck if it starts stinking. It suck if it starts smelling like an outhouse in here. Yeah, I know. Check the gag every now and then. You don't want to get loose, so keep it tight. But not too tight. And that's he stopped breathing. I said I know. Huh? Did I ask you to pick up another can of gas for the portable stove? We're out. You never asked yet, Idjit. Gosh. Seriously. Come on. Work. Damn it. He righted the portable stove as he struggled to get it to light. Seeing that, the man who went to buy supplies let out a deep sigh. And with a backwards glance at the sight, began to walk to the corner of the room. The kidnapped boy was sprawled out on a sheet that was spread out onto the floor. Boy, how you doing? You doing okay? Of course, the man didn't assume that the kid was able to hear that question. That was because the boy's ears were plugged, with his eyes and ears thoroughly covered by packing tape. Also, his mouth was gagged with a thin, twisted up towel. Because of that, the boy wasn't able to close his mouth properly. His cheeks were sticky with his own saliva. Of course, that wasn't the only reason. Both his arms were tied tightly behind his back with a leather belt. You seem to be doing okay. At least you're not gonna die. Your grandpa wanted to play tough. We might have to lop off an ear. It'd be great if you don't have to. If that main family says we do, though, tough luck. I can't even imagine what kind of cruel things they have done to us. They have a still. The family says not one scratch on though, so it seems to be going well for ya, time being. The minister discreetly withdrawing the dam project. The Himizawa Dam is definitely proposed. I wonder when we're letting the boy go. Just want to be done with this already. The main family seems to have begun in that time. I don't know when it'll be, but probably soon. Isn't that great, kid? You'll be let go real soon. The men didn't know their voices were heard by the boy. For him, there was nothing he could do but continue to sleep to escape his harsh reality. More importantly, what are you gonna do about the gas? You can't eat the cup noodles raw. The raw gas, say something. Jeez. Okay, so we know the boy's alive. Oh, I kind of already knew that. But at least we know he's not being treated too harshly. I mean, that was awful, but at least they're not hurting him. I like rainy days. The weather forecasts had been predicted that it wouldn't rain at all this entire week. It's not that I hate sunny days or anything. When every day is the same, unchanging, sunny weather, however, anybody would long for a rain cloud or two. If it's simply clear skies for a week, a month, a year, anybody would long for a rain cloud or two. The weather specialist said that if they had carefully scrutinized a large quantity of past data, so it wouldn't be so likely for the forecast to be wrong. I knew as much. But even then, there was occasionally a day where I was hoping they would be wrong, as I stared up into the clear blue sky. Was I being mischievous in hoping so? I waited and waited, feeling almost suffocated by the boring blue sky, undisturbed by a single cloud. If you could die from that suffocating feeling, then the population of Earth probably wouldn't have increased to this point. In other words, the only person who was being suffocated by this was me. And so, I welcomed the summer evening, where not even the weather forecast could predict a sudden shower. If I were to explain it like this, would you understand a bit more about how I feel? Keiichi's room, or not room. Let's say that tonight's dinner was going to be curry rice, but then you're called down to the dinner table that was waiting for you was instead an eggplant and bell pepper stir fry. This was just on your mother's whim, by the way. It would be delighted by such whimsy. I don't really like eggplant or bell peppers, but still, I would be delighted. The fact that the pre-established routine of curry rice had been broken would be amusing. If tonight was repeated 100 times, and 100 times you had to eat curry rice. Yet, for just this one night, that was changed to be an eggplant and bell pepper stir fry. There's no way you could enjoy that chance of happening. I hate pre-established routines. I really hate when things are all decided beforehand. I have no love for bored... Sorry, a little PTS flashback with that sentence. I have no love for boredom. I always get my hopes up that something today will be different from yesterday, no matter how trivial. Alright, so I already know whose point of view this is by. It's been decided that this entire week, starting today, was going to be clear skies. The weather forecast decided upon it, so the god of weather must also feel obliged to do so. But who to say that a rain cloud might not just show up one day on a whim? It's something that nobody can say for sure. But because of that, though, remains in this world a creature, such as myself, can continue living without being suffocated. Tomorrow will probably be hot and a clear day. However, I'm the only one that knows that predetermined fate, even with such a slim 1% chance, sometimes changes. Guys, you're meeting her. Lady Burncastle is coming through. No, she doesn't have that name here. Hoping for that 1%, I hung upside down with her charms on my sunlit ever thoughts. In the end, I spent my days waiting for those unexpected things in life to happen. I pondered why I was hoping for it. Why was I hoping for a rain cloud? The answer was simple. I had my fill of clear skies. Then why was I hoping for a rain cloud? The answer, it's like the poems. Was it going good? Why was I hoping for a rain cloud? The answer was simple. I had my fill of clear skies. Why was I hoping for a rain cloud? The answer was simple. The fact that it was going to be sunny tomorrow was boring. So why was I hoping for a rain cloud? In the end, it doesn't really matter whether it rains or shines tomorrow. Basically, it was just the rain would water my heart, which was withered from boredom. That's why, rather than a TV drama where the plot's already been decided, I prefer to look up at the sky. Oh! Alright, last one. Barley tea and black tea, and a millstone. Dr. Irie! Your blood pressure's improved. You are to recover this quickly at your age. I'm rather impressed. At this rate, you'll still be kicking after a couple of 100 more years. Oriol-san? The young doctor in his medical coat said that as he undid the blood pressure cuff from the arm of the old woman tucked away in her futon. Ah! There she is! Sonozaki Oriol, the family head of the Sonozakis. You're a young physician. You're a very good physician, Dr. Irie. If a persistent old fart like me doesn't hurry up and die, I'll just be in a way of you young folk. The old lady, Oriol, laughed faintly, with a broad smile on her face. Then, turning towards the sliding door, she called out in a strong voice. Shimiko or Tanko-san, bring some tea for Dr. Irie. The sound of rushed footsteps from the hallway drew closer, until finally the door slid smoothly open. What it revealed was a young girl. It looked like the old lady's granddaughter. Shimiko-san, I left for the day. Do you need something? It's Mion! Mion, make some barley tea for Dr. Irie.
了解。
Okay,
ど
got
れ
it.
を飲む？
Do you want some too, Granny?
紅茶の方がいい？
Or would black tea be better?
砂糖もミルクもたっぷり？
Want lots of milk and sugar?
わしが加減する
I'll
から
measure
入れて
myself.
んね。
So you end up putting
砂糖
in.
のとミルクも
Just
一緒
bring
に
the
持って
sugar
きて
jar and some milk when you bring the tea.
はいはい。
The little wink is cute. Aw, little Mion is so adorable. I want to take her home. The girl named Mion, after giving a rather uninterested response to her taskmaster of a grandmother, returned to the hallway.
先生の麦茶は
Pour the doctor's tea in the cups for the guests, and make sure you bring a coaster too. Also make sure to dry out the outside of the glass. Okay?
待ってるって。
Yeah. It's just a fuzzy pants. A tired voice wafted a reply from down the hall. So Mion barely changed from this to the present timelines. The apathetic tone of voice was far from usual. The old lady let out a wry smile that slipped through across her face as she chided the girl. Jeez, that girl just won't learn. Nothing ever scolded her about sticks. Now, Oryo-san. You don't have to say that. Mion-chan is doing her best in her own way, even though she's so young.
あれの母親もな。
Her mother was the same way. Couldn't teach her anything. The apple doesn't far fall from the tree. So her mother must have been exactly the same. No? The old lady burst out laughing. Her expression showed she hadn't taken the comment the wrong way.
入江先生、
Dr. Irie,
申し訳ない。
I'm sorry,
症状
but can you open the doors for me?
風が涼しい
Seems
んだ
there's a nice cool breeze outside. The cool chirpings of the Higurashi had some points started leaking through the gaps in the doorway. Irie stood up and opened the door a bit. A refreshing breeze pushed out the stale air that had built up in the room. It's gotten fairly hot during the day, but the evenings are still rather cool, aren't they? It's almost a downright chilly last night. Yeah,
そんな朝
those types of mornings and evenings
南沢のいいところ
are another one of Hinamizawa's fine points. Eri replied with a smile as she returned to sit on the cushion beside the old lady. And then the two of them, for a while, soaked in the voices of the Higurashi. Dun, dun, dun.
100まで生きにせ。もうしばらく
I'm gonna try and live for 100.
だま
Till the businesses with the dam is properly finished. I ain't kicking a bucket just yet. To get the government to withdraw a decision they've already made. A fairly difficult thing to do.
国のやるこ
The
とも
way this country does things is like turning a
みたいな
millstone.
もんね。
Everyone at that.
だいぶ重いやっちゃ。
A millstone.
知らんねか。
Don't you know?
イシウス。
A millstone. Eri quickly affirmed that of course he knew what the old lady was talking about. For he knew full well that Oreo didn't like having her stories interrupted.
国のイシウス
The
は
millstone
なん
see,
でもゴリ
can
ゴリ
grind
引いて
anything to a pulp.
大したもんよ。
It's rather impressive.
でもな、
But you see,
簡単には
it doesn't turn that easy
重い
because
イシウ
it's
スなんて
rather heavy millstone.
たくさんの人間
Lots of
が
people have to work in
せー
unison
のってやっ
to
て
get it to even
よう
budge
やくじりじり
with
と
that
動き
type
出
of
す
millstone.
そんなイシウスなんよ。
Eri pursed his lips, listening quietly to what she was saying. Ah, she's back! Eventually, Mion returned with some tea laid out on a tray. Seeing that Oreo was talking in a good mood, she quietly knelt down and laid out the sets for the barley tea and black tea, careful not to interrupt. It's not going to be easy to stop. It takes the most effort to move. It's right before it starts turning. Everybody hates that. So everybody keeps pushing it along without rest. You're talking about fiction again, right? I get what you're saying. So, in other words, there's some sort of mistake and the millstone suddenly stops turning. So, to get it turning again takes a great deal of power, more or less. Certainly, to get a project that's been suspended going again takes quite a lot of work. It's the millstone, so that isn't easily stopped. But once it's stopped, it'll never turn again. It's that tying the millstone. It'd be nice if there was some way to get that millstone to stop, wouldn't it? When Eerie responded with that, Neon and the old lady suddenly sunk into silence. Eerie, instinctively thinking he had said something rude, searched in a small panic for the words to correct himself. But that silence wasn't the result of rude words. For what crept across Neon and the old lady's faces were contemptuous smiles. Get away from the camera. Why are we laughing at? The atmosphere surrounding Eerie suddenly froze, leaving him flabbergasted. Thinking that the scornful smiles creeping across both of their faces was the result of some mistake of his, he could only grow afraid. Please don't kill me. It hadn't been that long at all since he was eloped in silence. However, unable to stand it, Irie could only let out a weak laugh. Irie's laugh eventually spread to Neon and the old lady, not knowing exactly what they were laughing at. Their laughter left a lingering chill. The only ones not laughing were the Higurashi, who continued their simple and unchanging chorus. Wait, don't tell me. That's the end of the tip? That's the end of the tip? What? Oh, Jesus. Okay. Let's continue. I'm coming. The phone suddenly rang. I woke up in a hurry. The clock read 9 p.m. Damn it. I slept past the time I was supposed to report in. I picked up the receiver. Akasaka-sama. You have a call from the outside line. Shall I connect you? It's from a coworker named Kano-sama. I knew it. I didn't call in, so they have phoned me. Sorry. Please put them through. Understood. I'll connect to you, so please hang up the receiver for the time being. After I put down the receiver for a few seconds, the phone began to ring again. Yes, hello. This is Akasaka. Akasaka-kun? This is Kano. Good work out there. You didn't call in for a regular report, so be called instead. What's your situation? Leaving the lecture for later, my senior coworker got straight to the point. Today, I went to the village proper. Under the guise of a tourist, I managed to establish contact with the mayor and several other core members of the Guardians. I wasn't able to ask them anything, but I left a good impression and was able to make a bridge for my investigation from tomorrow onwards. I see. It looks like things are going smoothly. Akasaka-kun seem rather naive sometimes, but that might have worked in your favor. You calling me dumb? I guess you made some good progress for now. I don't have the experience to make compassion. I don't have the experience to make a comparison, so I don't know if that's good or not. I think things went well for today, though. Did you find out anything from the prefectural or local offices? Does it look like the Himatsubushi Guardians is unrelated to this incident? I still didn't know. I should have been able to say that immediately. I only had to say that, but for some reason I hesitated. I'm still investigating, so I don't know what to say yet. I see. Could you let us know as soon as possible? I think you understand, but after tonight, it has been a full 4 days since the kidnapping happened. They didn't set a time limit, but it's obvious that time is not on our side. I think you know that. Yeah, I know. I'll investigate a little quicker, but also being careful about it. Okay. Be sure to look after yourself. You're dealing with a violent organization here. It might be dangerous to let your guard down. If you feel that you're in any danger, contact me immediately. In that case, I can get the local public safety officer prepared to help you. Thank you. I'll do my best. Anything else to report? I reported several bits of supplementary information, and at the very end, I decided to ask, how's the investigation going on your end? Everybody's doing their best here, but we're not making any much progress. After all, the number of organizers we're investigating is vast. So, if you find out that you're investigating in the clear, we'll have you return to Tokyo to assist some of the other officers. The chief is saying to dig up what you can on Himatsubushi, but I don't think it's a residential anti-dam protest group has any relation to the incident at hand. Sending somebody out just to investigate a single group makes me cringe. Really. At this point, he was just yeah, I would say look at how long his line was. He's just venting at that point. He was telling me to stop taking time enjoying my trip, to finish up and get back quick. I'll try and solve this as soon as I can. Thanks. Counting on you. Oh then, there's nothing else. I'm hanging up. Okay. That's all I had to say. After we ended our call, he scolded me thoroughly for being late with my regular report. After that, I hung up the phone and sprawled out on the bed. Come to think of it, I hadn't heard anything from Oshi, who was supposed to contact me about a time and place to meet with the information tonight. I thought about getting angry with Oshi in retaliation for being scolded for forgetting my daily report. Come to think of it, though, Oshi didn't really say anything other than he was going to call tonight. Waiting for a phone call when you didn't know what time it was going to come was itself rather difficult. Oh, not that long ago, I guess. Just then, just when I thought that, the phone rang. I picked up the receiver in a hurry.
もしもし。
Moshi moshi?
これはびっくりしました。
Wow, this is a surprise.
赤坂さん。
Akazaka-san, you're pretty quick to answer the phone.
警官やめても大
Are you a regular user of dating chat lines or something?
まだ警官やめた
I would never try something seedy like that.
そこまで
The way you overreact is rather
面白いな。
interesting. What's the song playing?
しかしい
Nah,
ないな。
I want the song.
因果な商売ですし。
Dancers number 5.
遅くないですよ。
Let's pull a jazz to it. And speaking of jazz, you can jazz out while I go take a quick little break. Let me just find this right here. And let me mute the microphone, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Back. Let me just recenter. Actually, I look kind of good, but I do want to kind of fix this for a second. You're gonna see something. The code, the secret code. It makes this thing work. There. Quick little center. Simple, but I like it. I really am kind of low. It makes it a little bit taller. I kind of look like it like that though. I look cozy. Like I'm settling in for something. Alright, let's put you down there. The way you react is rather interesting. Want to go to a place where you can have a little bit of lewd fun? I'll pass. So, could you please get to the point, Oshi-san? Really? Too bad. Well, we'll leave that for next time, then. Well, I'll get to the point. Many of the executives of the Onifukuchi Guardians had a lot of sway in the neighboring regions. Even Okinomiya, there were a lot of people with relations in the village. That's why meeting in the Shishibone Market District, far from Okinomiya, was a matter of course. Akasaka-san, over here! Did you get a little lost? Coming from the north entrance might have been a bit of a detour, but it was easier to give direction from there. No, I'm sorry for being a bit late. Did you already eat dinner? Yeah, I already did. Well then, shall we go to a place where you can get a drink? Do you prefer Western alcohol? Or maybe sake? We prefer for a place with or without women? Don't worry about it. I don't drink while I'm on the job. Hearing that, the man that Oshi had brought along bent backwards as he goffed it, clapping Oshi on the shoulder. See? Isn't he just adorable? In exchange, can you give him a bit extra? That money all came from this guy's wallet, you know? The man that Oshi had brought seemed almost like a ticket scalper or a bookie. Even his appearance was dubious. The informant grinned deviously. Hey boy! How much does this guy give you? Looks like theirs was quite a bit skimmed off the top, you know? Oshi's handling fee was included, so I took that into account. Seeing that the informant had expected a more extravagant reaction on my part. When I responded matter-of-factly, he realized that I was an entirely different type of person than he was. But rather than putting a distance between us, it seemed that I had picked his interest. I said it, didn't I? He's a serious type. But you do see, Akasaka-san, people in a line of work like ours can really use their wealth of experience to their advantage. I'm wondering exactly how the experience of drinking in a bar with women will work to my advantage. The informant, unable to contain himself, clutched at his stomach as he goffed it, heedless to the people watching. Lottie, you really can't judge people. That's what an education does for you. That's actually wrong. You've been drinking somewhere, haven't you? Are you drunk? What's wrong with drinking when I'm off duty? Even you're working, I'm not. Oshi, who was the sort that fool around to begin with, was in such a good mood I couldn't figure out a way to deal with him. Completely different than me. He had come worried about getting a bit of information I could. Oshi-san, after taking so much money, you were supposed to get me information worth at least as much. I thought this, but then realized that I was getting my information from the informant. So it didn't matter how drunk Oshi was. The informant seems drunk too. It was nothing I could complain about, but I still felt slightly rifled up. Oshi and the informant. It was no doubt a fake name, but he introduced himself as Sato, led the way deeper and deeper into the back streets of the market district. Even though the market was bustling, a couple of turns off the main street, and you're in a desolate alleyway. Oshi started climbing. Oshi started climbing a set of stairs on the side of a steady building. There wasn't any sort of signage, so again. There wasn't any sort of signage, so I couldn't tell if the place was open or it was just even a store at all. Don't worry. This isn't a dubious place. Those words, coming from Oshi-san's mouth, had absolutely no credibility. Oh, this is Monjog place, I think. Beyond the door was, thankfully, a typical Monjog parlor. I was relieved that it wasn't the sort of suspicious place I had to be on my guard about. Welcome, welcome. Oh, it's been a while. Want to join in? There'll be a free spot soon. Oh, no. I'm here with a group today. It was fine. Sorry to keep you waiting. Monjog is a game played with 4 people. It seems that a middle-aged man who was going to be our 4th had already arrived and was waiting for us. You're late, Kurado. I was just thinking of going home. Oh, she made an excuse for why he had taken so long. Eventually, realizing that I was a new face, the other man grew interested. That's Akasaka-san. He's a rookie who came all the way from Tokyo on assignment. They have high hopes for him. Boy, can you play Mahjong? But, well, I played a bit when I was still a student. Sato and the old man crackled in unison. Their plot to sucker me out of my money was painfully obvious. I thought you'd be a bit tired from your assignment, leaving you on edge the whole time. So I thought I'd give you a night to cleanse your spirit. I know asking this now might be stupid, but we're all police, aren't we? Yes or no? Well, let's not talk about that. Loosen up a bit. We won't actually gamble anything. We just decide on who's going to pay for everyone to play at a very nice place afterward. Go play? At what kind of place would you be doing that? Without reservation, the 3 of them started suggesting places like cabarets, high-class clubs, and even brothels. At the very least, they were the type of places that you couldn't go to with money. That was just for funsies. Oshi-san took all my money the other day, and I also have work to do, so I can't stay for long. Then all you gotta do is win! If you win, then you won't have to play for the table. And you can talk to Kuroda about work or whatever. No matter what happened, it seemed like they were intent on playing Mahjong for free. I would have to fasten my resolve a bit. If I was going to be underestimated like this forever, it was going to get in the way of my work. I understand. Then, I'll play with you guys just for a bit. If I win, you guys don't get any of the money or get to go to any of those dirty places. And we talk about work right away. God, where'd you get this buzzkill from? Yeah. Bring it on. If we win, we're heading straight to the Blue Mermaid on Flower Road. This old Ledger likes that place too. Of course, we're gonna hop between all the places. We're gonna keep the girls coming. What about you, Sato-san? I prefer a place where we can drink quietly. Like a nice quiet place with a bunny girl? The last time we went drinking, you pulled the tail right off that bunny girl, didn't you? You didn't you end up paying for that? The owner started a bottle of Dom Prinjon on my tab and called it a tailoring fee. Harassing waitress. Okay. He was a dirty old man. What a lively table this was. I could tell the other customers were glaring at us while we loudly continued our crude conversation. Speaking of which, the fact that they assumed I was the same was a bit disheartening. Oh, she had taken all the money I brought, so everything I had left was out of my own pocket. In addition, there wasn't that much left of that either. If I kept on hanging around him like this, though his goatee on my wallet would disappear into the night. I had to somehow win and return the conversation to the job. But these people, no matter how you looked at it, were pretty good. Sorry, Yuki. Oh no, the game music's on. Well then, I'll call Richie here. Well, the old man and Sato probably won't fall for this silly Richie. I wonder if Akasaka-kun will spit out what I need before. She's... Okay. At any rate, Kurajo's hand is probably still holding something like that, huh? In that case, this one I'll go through. There! Oh ho! The old man's pretty good. He's quite trying to use one of my say tiles to complete his hand, isn't he? It seems that Akasaka-kun has at least learned the ropes when it comes to guarding against someone's Richi. Alright, I know nothing about mahjong like this, so I don't fully understand what they're talking about. But yep, maybe we'll learn something. Maybe we will learn something. What's wrong, boy? Will you hurry up and discard? If you're not sure, anything that Kurado's already thrown away should be safe. Should be a safe no. Oh, Akasaka-kun's really fretting over this one. It was glaringly obvious that he has a safe tile to discard. But he didn't want to throw it away because it would move him farther from completing his hand. They're so nice when they're young and innocent. Come on, hurry up and throw out the kicker. If he gave me the winning tile, we'd be headed over to an establishment where I could do all sorts of licking and... Okay. All the guys are licking and sucking. If it gives the old man his winning tile, we'd be beheaded straight to the place where the maids and bloomers. Well, this will go through, right? He looked up hesitantly, threw out a tile that was, oh, too bad. And now, that's dangerous tile, you know. Right. Does that go through? Yeah, it will. It seems this time you were lucky. But as long as the rounds kept going, I could still win off the draw. But after that, Akasaka managed to luckily avoid throwing any bad tiles. And somehow the round managed to end without anybody completing a hand. Denpai. Denpai. No done. Sato had nearly anticipated the two players were in Richi, and decided to play it safe. But a cool-hearted way of playing. Now, let's see. What kind of hand did Akasaka-kun have? And this round ends with nobody winning in Mahjong. Anybody in Tenpai has to show their hand. But if you're not in Tenpai, you have no obligation to reveal it. Your average beginner would normally show their hand even if they weren't in Tenpai, and start a commotion about how if this tile or that tile came, they would be in Tenpai. Oh, God, I had no idea what they're talking about. This is like someone trying to explain poker to me. But he didn't. Being stingy. How you doing, boy? Come on, show me! Sato-san reached over to flip the hand that Akasaka-kun had casually placed face down. Complicating. What the hell is this? He was nowhere near Tenpai. Was Akasaka-kun totally bad at this after all? Right then, the old man compared the tiles from Akasaka-kun's hand to a discarded pool. A puzzled expression crossed his face. Boy, you were in Tenpai right around here, weren't you? Why you break your hand? The higher Mazu tiles suddenly got more valuable, so I held them back. Even though the chance they were safe tiles had increased with respect to Oshi-san's Richi. It would have been safer to read the discards, but there was a player who went out of their way to keep the tiles out of play. Oh. So Kurado's Tenpai was no good from the start. In other words, if it wasn't such a high-level trap, I would have thought that you were waiting for me to throw out the winning tile. But the more concerning thing is that you were in Tenpai. It didn't say anything. When did you realize I was in Tenpai? Around here. You threw out 4 tiles in a row immediately. At first I thought you were just discarding redundant tiles. But I noticed you glancing over at me, and realized that you were waiting for something. Akasaka-kun, you. When did you realize you first started playing Mahjong? I never did. I did in high school and university. Now, let's continue. Since Sato-san wasn't in Tenpai, and the round ended without a winner, I'm next, right? The next dealer? It seems like Akasaka-kun is really aware of how the game flows. We thought we were just going to eat him alive, but it looks like this isn't going to be easy. Oh, we finally got another new picture. Ah, that's Akasaka in the VN. In the anime, I think he had brown hair. Oshi-san, looks like you're going for the bamboo tiles. Should I put them in play? this boy. Kurado, don't hold back. As long as I get 3 more good tiles. Sato-san, you can do it. Damn it. I'll just force you to go for a cheap Tanyo. Cheap. A straight? Well, sorry. I'm gonna pawn that tile. Whoa now. Going to call 3 of a kind after he declared a straight? Trying to override, interfere? Boy, you're getting pretty used to this. Oh no. I can even compare to you guys. We have been playing since forever I was even born. That game. Run. Triplet 2. Red. Dora. And 3 more Dora. I'm the dealer. So this will cost you quite a bit. Nice job. Now then. Well, now, we'll have to get serious. Won't we? Well, can you get serious about handing over your points? I'm tired, and so let's end this quickly. Akasaka-kun? This is somehow unreal. Before I could realize it, there was an ominous cold air emitting from beneath Akasaka-kun's feet. Now, boss, how do I pronounce that? The 2, 5, and 8 Mazus are laughing at you. Damn it! Boy, you! Kurado, finish it! You have to end the boy's turn as dealer. I hate to admit it, but that seems like the best option. There it is! Run! Simple straights! 1 Dora! Sorry, head bump. Run! Straight. Head bump? You damn brat! Brat? So you play that sloppily against a brat? I guess that means you're worse than a brat yourself? It's so interesting. The way you guys call people things like brat and boy. Yeah, I guess I could just turn into a freaking light? Akasaka-kun? That is you, isn't it? Feels like you're a totally different person. You thought that I, being a sucker, would let you drink some good booze tonight? Seems that you are a little off the mark. Oh, okay, this is all about the money. He's like, oh, I'm gonna play along, but you want to take my money, bitch? Okay, now I'm getting serious. Run. Triple straights. Red Dora. And another Dora. He actually did it! That's why I'm saying you guys are slacking. No matter how you look at it, you have to be able to read such an obvious 3-way wit. Akasaka-kun's chuckle as he rested his chin in his hands. That pose was so fitting, it was almost scary. Wait, why are you in the bathroom all of a sudden? This is... Kurado! This isn't what we discussed. What the hell? You said he was a nice sucker, right for the picking. Yeah. Oh, could it be? Oh, she's done. This is bad. If we keep going like this, we're seriously gonna lose. Akasaka-kun, for you to make me get serious. Looks like you really want to be milked dry. Pon! Pon! That sounds nice. One more time. Pon. Akasaka-kun was almost singing at this point. The tiles you open were all pin tiles. You can't be. I can't listen to Oshi voice. You can't be serious. Are you really going for a flush? Pun. Boy, you are right in the head. You opened 4 sets. You only had 1 tile left, you know? That's right. Did you know? Waiting on a single tile is the hardest thing to read. You an idiot! That much of your hand revealed. Don't think we give you a tile you need, do you? I know what you're doing, Akasaka-san. That's not flesh, or half flesh, is it? The fact you called Pon 4 times means you're already in position for an all-triplet hand. Right now, you're far from away in the lead. You're trying to show off flesh and gold us to give you triplets, aren't you? And that's what you think? Want to try throwing out some pins? The left 5 tiles in your hand. Oh, Oshi-san. They're pin tiles. You're reluctant to throw them away, aren't you? Why don't you try discarding them in order from the left? You must be joking. Is he a Mahjong god? If not, he had to be the main character of him. Oh, he's a main character for this VN. Did I mess up my model by doing down like that? Okay, now I'm still in a little corner. At that moment, the old man sent me a sign under the table. The message was simple and clear. Kurato. Do it. Crush him. Don't let the cheat against kids like this. Idiot. After being disrespected like this, you can't pull back now. Well, I'm not responsible for what happens, you know. Go ahead. Here we go, boy. Reach. We'll go open. I'm waiting for a 1, 4, or 7 pins. Most likely. The tile that Akasaka-kun was waiting for was one of those tiles. With this, Akasaka-kun was no longer capable of winning the hand. When I drew it from the wall, I switched out the tiles that Akasaka-kun would draw. The tile that I put in was 1 pin. One of the tiles that the old man was waiting on. Akasaka-kun discarded it a little while ago. There was no threat of it being the one needed. Come on! It's your turn, boy! I knew he was trouble that the tile he drew was 1 pin. Of course he couldn't discard it. Boy. You must be aware, but if you discard into an open Richie, it's worth the limit. Oh, bump the mic, sorry. You don't have to tell me that. The tile that came out from Akasaka-kun's hand was an honor tile. Whew. Ain't that something? There's only 1 north wind tile left, isn't there? You were counting a really rough weight, weren't you? But with this, Akasaka-kun's fate was decided. Brat! You're lucky you're safe. But your hand only has a single tile. You think you'll be able to run away the rest of the round? So, it's going to be like that. Akasaka-kun's glare at the old man with a discerning eye. This guy has pretty good instincts. Did he figure out we were cheating? Let's stop this. Akasaka-kun is a step or two ahead of us. You think we can stop after we come this far? Next, make him draw it. Next tile, Akasaka-kun would draw with a 7 pin. With that, it would be settled. No matter which one he discarded, he played it right into the old man's hand. An unavoidable full payout. When I drew my tile, I sneakily swapped Akasaka-san's. But Gesundheit. Rush. What? Akasaka-san suddenly sneezed, collapsing the wall tiles in front of him. He knew! He knew you were cheating! Hey, what are you doing? Sorry. I actually knocked over the wall when I sneezed. There's a penalty for that, right? I'm the dealer. So 4,000 to everybody? Or should I pay in deposit? Unable to hold back, I coughed. Akasaka-kun, knowing he was going to be cornered a second time and unable to escape, he took the drastic measure of knocking over his own wall. You're a good boy. To get away from a full payout like that? Oh, she's-san. Do you not bother putting me in such a obvious trap? If this were at Baba, this wouldn't have been the point where I flipped the table. Oh, no. Sorry. I underestimated you. For some reason, you're really good, aren't you? Answer me honestly. You got a lot of experience when you were younger, didn't you? I played quite a bit around Wasa and Takanoba. The place I freaking banned me from winning too much. I made the woman who would become my wife pretty angry, so I washed my hands of it all. Raised the stakes too high? How much were you playing for at the time? It depends on who I was playing with, but I had an almost perfect record of playing in Kabikyochi? Especially when I played against a certain crowd, my life was on the line. 20 times. What kind of stakes were those? Do you have Yakuza at your table? Or pro baseball players? What's this? Kurado! You buffoon! Where did you pull this guy from? He's practically a professional. I give up. Jeez. Boy, you win. I surrender. Thank you very much. It was an honor. Oh my. Akasaka-san, you personally really change when you play. Your personality really changes when you play. Why do you even have a day job? You have no problem living as a freelancer. To be a pro mahjong player, you need both talent and luck. I didn't have anything like that supporting me. Luck is luck. With somebody of your skill, I think you'd be able to make it pretty far. Normal luck doesn't cut it. Calling a kun in one time out of 3, you can aim to win at the extra draw with 4 Dora. That kind of luck? Akasaka-kun. If you judge something like that, you're already bordering on the supernatural. No, There's plenty of people who can do that without cheating or superpowers. There was a person I met in Shinjuku who would get Dorodas every time you blinked. He was strong as a demon. There was a pro I played with in Yokohama who would draw the tile he needed immediately, calling Richi like it was an everyday thing. I don't have that kind of luck. What type of folks were those? They were named Ru or Satoshi by any chance? Well then, it was alright. I declared the overall winner then. Yeah. We totally lost. I lost. It's been a while since I lost this big. Still, when you were playing, boy, you're pretty into it. It was kind of scary. I hear that a lot. I didn't mean to change gears like that, though. Did I really look that scary? Yep. The three of us nodded empathically in agreement. So that was Akasaka-kun, the Mahjong prodigy. Before he goes home for this assignment, maybe I could have him go play at a high-stakes table in my place. But it's not good to get greedy. Well then, nothing for it? It was a promise. We'll break up our little late-night study group right now. Sorry about this, old man. That's it for tonight. Nothing you could do. I'm going home to sleep. My body won't last this. My body won't last like this. Problems at work? Oh, he's the foreman at the primary construction site at the... The fuck? The what? The what? The what? He's the what? The foreman of the... He's the foreman of the primary construction site of the Hinamizawa Dam. So this is the... I took my head back. I didn't mess my thing up. Okay, it didn't. So if you're keeping during the timeline, this old man we've been playing with, he's the guy who's gonna die at the end of this episode. He's the first victim of the Oyashiro-sama's curse, the ones that get hatcheted into pieces. No, I didn't know that happened. He's butting heads with the residents every day. This is a rough business. Around next year, I may be in charge of the second site as well. I heard that Kuroda-san was pissing blood. He won't know out much longer. You'll be alright, old man. Your skull is thicker than it looks. I'm not exactly a saint, you know. Each time that just makes my blood boil. Especially can't stand dealing with that bratty daughter, Sanasaki's. I think one of these days I'm gonna rearrange her face. No. At least the pay is good, right? I heard the wages were pretty separate. Of course they are. If the pay was cheap, nobody would hang around that god-awful job. Hey, Kurado, it's lucky when are the police going to tell all the villagers to shove off? There'll be a notice of eviction from the government, right? Maybe. I wonder when that'll happen. The old man The old man, who identified himself as the foreman of the Hinamizawa Dam, spewed a few complaints until he felt better about it, then left quietly. Well then, let's go. I'll leave the rest to Sato-san. Are you going home, Oshi? If I'm here, I'll just be in the way, won't I? Besides, the one who brought Sato-san's services was you. I didn't pay for my share. Oshi-san was kind of sketchy, but he was strangely conscious about some things. I felt quite a bit of gap between myself and Oshi's generation from that part of him. I didn't comprehend. Then boy! No! I can't call Mr. Mahon's here boy no more. Is Akasaka-kun alright with you? Yes. Then Akasaka-kun. Shall we go? Well then, Akasaka-san. Later. If you have any trouble, you can count on me anytime. I don't have any more money to pay you. You know that. Yay! If you go easy me next time, we'll be even. Oshi seemingly still not having his fill of playing around, but without overstaying his welcome, disappeared into the night. And that was a long game of Mahjong, or how you pronounce it. I think it's Mahjong, though. What time is it? 2:18. Oh, we've been streaming for 2 hours and 18 minutes. I guess we can keep going for a little bit. I guess we can finish up this segment. We'll decide about what else after that. Okay. The informant named Sato-san had me get into his car before he set off. He favored narrow roads and made numerous short left turns, checking if we were being followed. Yeah, you know a lot about this. Checking to see if you're being tailed by making left turns was rather a classic technique. It was just a single pursuer, you can confirm it that way. But if you're being tailed as a team, this archaic method wouldn't let you shake them. Of course, doing it anyway was better than not. I didn't hear anything from the boss to who you are, Akasaka-kun. Related to the police? If you're familiar with checking for being tailed, the only other possibility I can think of is something like a private detective. If it's not something I have to say, I'd like to refuse to answer that question. My. Ever since we played Mahjong, you seem a lot more mature. I wonder where that hesitant person went when we first met. I smiled wryly. Looking back now, I have to be a little grateful for being made into play Mahjong. Thanks to that, I was able to release some tension. Eventually, Sato-san, confirming that there were no cars following us, slipped outside the city. We were on a pitch-black country road, unable to see anything besides the lights outside. The only thing I was able to hear was the hum of the car air conditioning and the chirping of insects and frogs. I heard from the boss that you want to hear a bit about Hinamizawa village, yeah? Like about the old houses, known as the three families, who control the place, or that right now is pretty much the Sansaki family running things. You know that much already. I'll cut out the introductions. Then, if you would, you can confirm or deny if the Onikuchi Guardians is involved with the kidnapping of Minister Inukai's grandson. Sato-san checked the review mirror one more time to confirm that there wasn't anyone behind us before speaking. Last night, the Sanzaki main house held a family council. Did you hear about it from the boss? No. It wasn't a normal meeting. Then it would just be all the relatives coming together over a nice cup of tea or something. But a family council held by the main house isn't quite so relaxed. A family council held by the Sanzaki main house. That would be a meeting between those who truly controlled Hinamizawa village. They wouldn't be talking about private family matters. It would be about the village as a whole. About organizing activities against the dam project. Among other things. Everything would be decided there. In reality, they were deciding the fate of the village. At the head of the meeting was Oryo Sanazaki, more or less called Empress Sanazaki, as the ultimate decision maker of the clan. She was feared and respected. Infirm with old age, she was often unable to stand on her own, but her words carried enough weight to sway the fate of the village. It seemed that lately she had grown weak on days where she wasn't feeling well and remained bedridden. Family councils that occurred while she wasn't feeling well took place with her on the floor. In the middle of a dignified Japanese-style room, still in a futon, only the upper half of her body sitting upright, a stern look in her face. That was Oryo Sanazaki. Sitting next to her was her heir, Mion Sanazaki. She was still young. No, young wasn't quite the right word. She was a girl who remained childish. Her role was to merely sit beside Oryo Sanazaki, sometimes respond to her request. However, she was the only one deemed worthy to succeed Oryo. She had the same hawkish eyes, other enough to give pause to anybody who so much as looked at them. Much was expected of her in the future. This granddaughter of Sanzaki's leader. And also, on either side of her, several other important members of the remaining three families, the Kimiyoshi family and the Furude family. First on the list of the Kimiyoshi family was of course the mayor of Hinamizawa village, Kichiro Kimiyoshi. And lined up beside him were several more of the direct relatives. Opposite to them sat the other side of the three families, the Furude family. The Furude family was only composed of the family of the Shinto priest. So the only one sitting there was said priest, his wife, and their daughter, Rika. Rika was doted on by many of the older folks in the village, and it seemed that Oryo was no exception. While the stress from just attending a family council was said to be enough to shorten your lifespan by 3 days, it seemed like Rika was the only one exempt from that. No matter how charged the atmosphere was around her, she paid no mind, instead humming along as she doodled in a sketchbook. In fact, the night before lying on her stomach while humming and doodling, she nonchalantly tucked her legs into Oryo's futon, like it was a kosatsu. All of this was the three families. And all around the room, lying row up upon row, were relatives of the Sanzaki family. The only ones who were afforded a cushion to sit on were the direct relatives. The others were left to sit on the seaside position, directly on the tatami mats. With Emperor Sanazaki enshrined at their center, they were almost like a giant snake coiled up around the room. 1 second. And my body didn't shake a lot, did it? Okay, never good. I get that off. The number of people from the Sanzaki family was overwhelming. The fact that Sanzaki family held so many seats at a meeting where everything pertaining to the village was decided made determining where the balance of power was held in the three families clear as day. The number of the members in attendance from each of the families directly reflected how much influence they had in ruling Hinamizawa. What was talked about at the meeting? Sato-san, after remaining silent for a while, quickly began to speak. Is raining? Wasn't our monetary gift of appreciation to the media a bit large? Breaking the long moment of silence was the head of the Kimiyoshi family, Kichiro Kimiyoshi. The Hanafukushi Guardians wasn't a business. They were nothing more than a private organization pushing for the cancellation of the Hinamizawa Dam project, with no reliable source of income. Fundraising had always been a problem. When they first started operating, they had managed to collect a sizable amount of funds through donations, but as the conflict dragged on, that amount was steadily declining. This is an area where you can get what you want just by throwing rocks. It's very important you don't underestimate the power of the media. We want to borrow some of that down the road. The expression of the people related to the Sansaki family were sullen. As the one who suggested they should borrow that power was the family head, Oryo Sansaki. The battle wasn't just about the force of arms. In the civilized age, there were civilized methods of fighting. Oryo suggested that creating a strategy incorporating the mass media. Orio's foresight was spot on, and the effects of that plan, while at first unclear, slowly began to manifest. In the physical confrontation at the construction site was meant to delay progress on the dam by even one day. Then the propaganda war using the media was aimed at attacking the dam project itself. At first, there were those who had doubts that the strategy, but there was nobody now who called those results into question. But in order to maintain those media ties, a colossal amount of money was required. As long as the amount of funds they had was abundant, things would turn out fine. It could be argued that it was a massive expense, but the results spoke for themselves. But with the conflict continuing to drag on, circumstances had changed. The head of the Sanzaki family, no, the one who sat as the principal of the Hinamizawa three families, Oryo, had suggested that idea herself. Though it wasn't already untouchable, it continued to be allowed to drain from the budget. Nobody acknowledged that it should be allowed, but nobody could say anything. That was the price of dealing with the mass media. What do you think? What do you think, Oryo-san? The only person who could object to a plan proposed by the head of the Sansaki household herself was probably Mayor Kimiyoshi. Oryo, with a hard-to-define expression on her face as if she had served herself from the fetters of mortal emotion, simply listened quietly to Kimiyoshi's words. But really, it was hard to tell if she was quietly listening, or didn't even have the intention of listening at all. Last year, we spent a lot of trouble getting people to wrap their heads around the price hike in the bulletins we were putting out. We convinced them that it was just the one time. It just wouldn't do if we had another one this year. Right, Furude-san? The mayor looked to the priest and his wife from the Furude family for affirmation. The priest gave a vague expression, avoiding a prompt response. But his wife gave her answer without a second thought. That's right. The cost of the bulletins are particularly harsh, burdening the poor families. Everybody's dealing with it for the sake of the village, but it's best we don't increase the prices anymore. Speaking of increases, my throat is increasingly burning. I need to get a breath. Just a second. I almost tripped. I almost tripped getting up. Okay, got more water. What does she mean? The air is on. 1 second. Sorry. Turn this down some more. Alright, where were we? Alright, she's talking about the price hikes. The bulletin was, as the name implied, a bulletin published by the Himatsubushi Guardians. It outlined the Alliance activities, ideals, and resolve, but you couldn't deny that contents were rather piecemeal. That bulletin's main goal was to inform people, but rather was something to sell to businesses and people living in the village or connected to it, using those sales to collect funds. In other words, it becomes something of a tax. Of course, it didn't have to be said that this was one of the main sources of income from the Himatsubushi Guardians. Originally, purchase was supposed to be voluntarily, but in Hinamizawa, it has suddenly become the opposite. In the neighboring towns as well, it seemed that many businesses were buying copies just to avoid butting heads with the Alliance. The priest whispered to his wife to not say anything unnecessary, but was struck down directly with a cold glare. Cowering from that glare, the priest shut his mouth. The priest's wife always held the power in their relationship. That's because she was the one who carried the Furude bloodline. The priest merely married into the family. He was nothing more than somebody who adopted the name just to join the three families. He should have been able to find a spot fairly high up in the hierarchy of things, but the lack of authority in his voice meant that he still had not gained any favor. Casting a backward glance at her rather desperate parents, Rika continued to doodle whimsically, without paying them any mind. Seeing by a look from Oriol, Mion brought her ear close to her grandmother. There, something was said to her in a quiet voice. After responding with a couple of questions, with a nod from Oriol, Mion looked around the room and conveyed to her grandmother's words. There will be no freeze on the price increases for a bulletin. Kimiyoshi made a face like he had just spit into something unpleasant. But that expression quickly disappeared like it had never happened at all. But Mion-chan, I think you already know this, but the cost of the bulletin is by no means easily affordable. It'll be a burden carried by everybody in Hinamizawa. If we make people carry too much of that burden, it's possible it will collapse from the inside. And who on the inside should start the collapse? Who? I didn't mean it like that. I'm asking who would be the first to buckle. Being cross-examined by a girl who still had fragments of childishness remaining within her, the words struck in Kimiyoshi's throat as he sunk into silence. Mion repeated her question once more, looking around the crowded room. Everybody's refrained making eye contact to avoid being pierced by her gaze. The words she had spoken were ungroundedly said in proxy for Oreo. That's why when Mion spoke them, they carried the same weight. But the look in her eyes was different. Like Oreo's, they had a hawkish gaze strong enough that anybody looking upon them would freeze in their tracks and yield. But that gaze was without question one that belonged to Mion herself, as Mion would eventually inherit everything from Oreo, the day she would stand up as a young and capable leader in her own right. Nobody wanted to believe otherwise, even for a minute. That's why nobody, even thought of Mion as just some sort of little kid. Kimiyoshi-san, nobody will lose their resolve, like a price hike on the bulletin. Kimiyoshi, while grumbling a little bit, made a gesture as if to say he had no objection. The expenses related to the mass media will continue. If those expenses become too much, we'll have no choice but to continue the price hikes. Mion had rendered her judgment. Everybody bowed their heads, silently listening to her words. In the name of Mion Sanzaki, as acting head of the Sanzaki family, I hereby declare that all of this shall be effective immediately. There shall be no objections. Any objections shall be removed by force. The formal decree was read out loud, indicating her judgment. There would be no retrial, but there was a certain authority behind those words that even a courthouse couldn't compare to it. If she was a judge, she would have banged her gravel, signaling that the matter was settled. Mion pulled out a large bell from inside her clothes and rang it. Everybody present could only prostrate themselves before the harsh sound of the bell. Well, that's a rather old family council, isn't it? A young guy like you would probably find it hard to believe that antiquated place like this, these types of things have firm roots. It was exactly as Oshi has said. The old system of the three families had vanished, and now the Sansaki family was running things by themselves. On top of that, their rule was borderline despotic. Was that the end of the meeting? No, there's more. I'll continue. Eventually, after ringing the bells ceased, there was a defining silence. Within all that, a lone man shuffled closer to Mion and whispered something in her ear. Mion asked several questions quietly in response. When she was satisfied, she motioned for the man to leave. The man who talked to Mion was a member of a gang that her father was the leader of. that organization had the entire area of Shishibone City under its control, so it was quite well known even here. Of course, this was just talking about the criminal underworld, so it's not like just anybody would know. But just showing a patch with the gang symbol on it was enough to resolve any disputes in the neighborhood. Mion's biological father, to Oreo, was her daughter's husband. The power of that man's gang was the driving force that controlled the dark underbelly of the Hinamizawa of the Onifuguchi Guardians. And so that man, from his position as the next in line to control the three families, continued to conquer everybody around him with his unconventional presence. Mion, in exchange, looked with her father. Was it okay for her to tell what she just heard directly to Oreo? It looked like she was asking for him that question. Her father gently but firmly nodded in response. Mion also nodded, then sidled up to Oreo and informed her of something. Eventually, Mion finished conveying her message. Separated herself from Oreo and fixed her posture, waiting for Oreo to signal her response. It wasn't often that Oreo showed any emotion. That's why, when she started to laugh quietly, a vague sense of uneasiness crept over everybody in the room. That's quite the conundrum, isn't it? Oreo was laughing so happily that Kimiyoshi had to hesitantly ask, "What is it, Oreo-san? If this land is like the mother to us, then this business with the dam is like somebody threatening our mother's life, isn't it?" Kimiyoshi, unable to comprehend the meaning of her words, looked confused. Oreo, with a wide grin on her face, turned towards everybody and addressed them in a clarion voice. The minister behind the dam project is apparently rattled over the kidnapping of his grandson. That makes us even. Oh, that's absurd. Information on the kidnapping of Minister Inokai's grandson shouldn't have leaked from anywhere. How did they know? Even we didn't know even we didn't know much about the kidnapping incident. Exactly how did an antiquated household so far away from Tokyo come to know of it? It was a tranquil place, but I couldn't help but have an uneasy feeling about Hinamizawa village. At some point, I had mentally filled this place away as unrelated to the incident at hand. That mental paperwork had just blown away in the wind. How did Onigafuchi Guardians know about that? Sato-san, unable to come up with an answer, fell into silence. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please continue. Sure. The Minister of Construction's grandson was kidnapped. Oreo-san, is that true? That major incident was nowhere to be seen in the newspaper or on TV. But in Hinamizawa, there was nothing strange about Oreo knowing something that the rest of the world didn't. Our pain is the pain of losing a mother. I don't think it completely makes up for it, with the pain of losing a grandchild. You'll have to bear with that for a bit. Don't you think? The last question wasn't addressed to anybody in particular. It was as if she was looking for her conscience. Still, land and a human child are different things. I don't mind hiding him here, but I want no harm to befall him. The child isn't to blame. Make sure to keep that in mind. That means that only Fukushi guardians were involved in the kidnapping. I can't say for certain. Why? Even though their leader Oreo was clearly giving orders on the treatment of the kidnapped child. Lad, you see, this is what the Sonozaki family always does. Always does? What do you mean by that? Let's say there was a particular problem. One that wasn't exactly favorable for the Sonozaki family. If Oreo shows concern over that particular problem, hearing that somebody who attended the family council wouldn't be helpful. As a result, Oreo's wish would be granted. However, neither Oreo or anybody else would know who actually did it. With this kind of clever little ploy, the Sonozaki family was able to manipulate events, even though they had their hands laid out on the table. Then, that means that somebody who was at the family council was corrupt? Was the culprit? Or, there's a possibility that there was never a culprit in the first place. Ori herself, in that room full of people, did explicitly say that somebody pulled off the kidnapping. She was just giving her opinion. It was an odd and unpleasantly secretive way of doing things. Were they involved or weren't they? I could see beyond the veil. I couldn't see beyond the veil. This much, however, I could say with certainty. This kidnapping was an ironclad secret. No matter how high a position somebody was in, even they wouldn't know about it. If there was somebody who would know about it, they would be connected to public safety. In other words, one of us. Another option were people connected to the case itself, including the minister. There will be people affected by the incident, or the people that committed it. In any case, there was no way an old household in a place removed from Tokyo by over 6 hours of highway travel should know about it. Them knowing at all was already strange. My suspicion began to accumulate, like falling snow. That is as much as Oreo said in regards to the kidnapping. Hopefully, if you want to find out what's in there. After this, it's up to you. I don't know what kind of work you're doing, but if you're going up against the Sonozaki family, you best prepare yourself. Oh, she might be fearless, but even he's been attacked 2 or 3 times. He hasn't been wearing it lately, but at one point he was wearing a stab-proof vest. A stab-proof vest while off duty. Oh. Thanks for the warning. I'll be careful. You speak pretty well. Are you from Tokyo by any chance? What's your point? Investigators were always close to danger. It was best not to divulge any information on myself. Your job? Could you possibly be somebody from the from the Metropolitan Public Safety Division? Uh, uh, um, I couldn't remain silent here. It would be the same as admitting it.
まさか
No way. This wasn't accounted in for the money I got from the boss. But as somebody who played at the same table today, I'll give you this one as a freebie. After Oreo talked about the kidnapping, there was one other topic that came up. Another topic that Oreo brought up. And right before he told me this, Sato-san asked if I was from the Metropolitan Police Public Safety Division. In other words, what those two things meant caused a chill to run up my spine. So you see, that in order to investigate the kidnapping of the minister's grandson, there's word that there will be an investigation from the public safety dispatched all the way from Tokyo. An investigator from public safety. They can't be reckless and make a big deal over the kidnapping. So it seems the Metropolitan Police Safety Division is investigating this one on their own. Ain't that grand? What is it? Rika, who had been drawing it the entire time and was completely uninterested in the conversation up until now, looked at Oreo with an interested face as soon as the topic of public safety came up. Did the Metropolitan Police come? So Rika-chama knows the Metropolitan Police Department. That's very admirable. Who came? Is there anybody who knows what the kind of guy from public safety came here? Mia's father raised a hand slightly. I hear that is a nice... Oh! I hear it's a nice young piece of fresh meat. Fresh meat? Is it nice and tender? Yeah, it is. Fresh meat. Mia's father smiled wryly as he answered Rika's question. Tender and tasty? Yeah. Tender and tasty! Rika smiled with interest. Why did Rika suddenly act interested only when it came to this topic? That was a question that apparently nobody had the answer to. Does Rika-chama know something about this man? I don't know. After her father's flat reply, Rika buried herself underneath Oreo's futon again. But when she buried herself there, Rika no longer started drawing again. Instead, she was making an expression like she was in deep contemplation. What shall we do about him? Mother. Mia's father posed the question. He had the type of uncoughed expression on his face, indicating that given the order, he could snuff the problem out at any time. He came all the way to Hinamizawa. Let him take it easy for a little while. So you're saying just let him go around as he pleases? Mia's father asked in response. Oreo smiled thinly as she responded. Leave him alone. But if he starts causing too much mischief, when that happens, don't hold back. I don't enjoy being taken lightly. Is what they talked about apparently. It couldn't be that you're that fresh meat from Metropolitan Police. Are you? It couldn't be. The sensation of cold, bristling fear began to crawl its way up my back. This family council took place last night. In other words, yesterday. Then today, when I was dressed up as a tourist headed towards Hinamizawa, my cover was already blown. When I remember the first person I met when I got to the bus stop, I couldn't breathe. The person in the family council who expressed interest in the man being dispatched from the Metropolitan Police, Rika Furude. And the person who was waiting for me the whole time in the bus shelter, Rika Furude. It was unimaginable. No, it was an illusion. When we met at the bus shelter, did Rika-chan already know my true identity? Did she know that I was Akasaka, dispatched from the Metropolitan Police Department, and come to meet me? Then, including Mayor Kimiyoshi, every villager that I met, everybody knew, but just pretended not to? Because Oreo had given instructions not to interfere? Think about it logically. It didn't seem possible. I met quite a number of people. There's people that are good at acting, and there's people who are bad at hiding things. If there was that many people, there should have been somebody among them who knew I was from the public safety, and couldn't hide their hostility. However, I didn't feel any presence like that. But then, even still, why did Oreo tell them to leave me alone? Was it because if they were careless about it, it will only raise more suspicion? Or was it because they believed a rookie like me wouldn't be able to find anything? Oh no, not the face! Akazaka is a coward. I recall that strange voice that could only make me believe that Rika-chan had been possessed. That unknown entity, no matter how you looked at it, knew my true identity from the get-go. And then, how did it warn me again? That's right. It warned me to hurry up and go back to Tokyo. It said the realistic worry that only Fukuchi Guardians had discovered my identity. The absurd worry brought on by the unknown girl struck me with more. What exactly was that girl? What was that thing I could eventually regret? That mysterious girl. Rika Furude. Let's stop this. Everything I was thinking of right now was merely conjecture. Tomorrow, first thing in the morning, I'll report everything I heard right now to HQ and wait further orders. There was no mistaking that the possibility that the Onifukuchi Guardians were related to this case in there. And that the fact that my cover was blown meant I was in a precautious position. 1 second. Okay, 1 second, guys. I need to pause this. We're almost done. Just give me a minute. I'm gonna put this on. Okay, sorry about that. Let's get back. There is no mistaking that the possibility of the Onifukuchi Guardians were related to this case, was there. And that the fact that my cover was blown meant I was in a precautious position. But everybody at HQ was already extremely busy. They might not be able to spare the support. Is that everything? If you want, I can drop you off wherever you like. Ah, sorry. In that case, the station where we originally met, please. A rural road where even a street light was rare. I couldn't see anything. I wasn't aware of anything but the asphalt that was lit up by the headlights. Outside of that light, it was simply darkness. Or was there something lurking there, waiting to strike? I had to think I drew the short straw here. I wanted to go back to Tokyo. For some reason, the voice of that girl warning me to go back to Tokyo still lingered in my head. And we made it! Alright. It's getting kinda... Oh, 3 hours. Yeah. Getting kinda late here. I need to... quiet... Oh. Okay, fine. We'll do the tips. So what we got here? Investigation rooms around. What's... What's in the box? What's in the box? So I've not seen 7. I'm not sure why I keep not watching the movie. The glint in the demon's eye. Alright, my throat is going to kill me later, but let's do this. Yes. Yes, we met at the restaurant in Ginza. That topic popped up. That's overstepping boundaries, isn't it? And they're meddling with too much with public safety. If they keep doing that, they're going to set a bad precedent. The Minister Ukanai is openly uncomfortable about the public safety is doing things. The Vice Minister is probably going to say something to that effect during Monday's debate session. But what can you do? We can only have the director address the Vice Minister. That's why we pay him the big bucks. Well, if it comes to that, they're going to ask him for proof about the minister being threatened. Sometimes I don't know what side he's on. If he's on ours, then what? Well, he probably is getting some pressure from the minister. We'll probably just have to proceed with the investigation while he sweats it out in the Vice Minister's office and buys us some time. You might get so wrung out to dry that all that's left are dregs, though. So how's the investigation going? All the juicy leads that I was pinning my hopes on turned out to be duds. Honestly, I'm at a loss. There are reports that the Himatsubushi Dam project has been showing up lately in the minister's press release. So what about that? Well, you say he's showing up, but it's really more of a very slight feeling that something's strange. He just happened to mention it was during his speech at the Excess Prefectural Forum. So it might have just been something that he was mentioning because it was relevant at the time. If I remember correctly, a local organization there was posting quite violently, no? The Onifukuchi Guardians? I think Akasaka-kun was investigating that. I think those guys could possibly be behind what's happening now. Even we can't say there's anything overtly suspicious about them. It might not be prudent to remove them from the picture. Akasaka-kun reported in passing that he couldn't deny that possibility. then isn't there merit in investigating them? We're going through everything with a fine-tooth comb. So there's one of the suspicion groups that are left. We'll eventually have to. Well, we're not the only group we should investigate, right? If we are just talking about groups that are suspicious of Fukushi, there's quite a few of them. We don't have the men, the time, or the money for it all. I'll try asking for more details from Akasaka-kun. I feel like we should pay some extra attention to the guardians. Report that he's established a rapport with the villagers. He also seems that he's collaborating with the local police. Keep your contact with Akasaka-kun on the down low. Also, if there's anything in his info that merits investigation, it's possible that we can send reinforcements. Got it. Sorry, Chief. There's a phone call from the director. Should I transfer it over here? No, it's okay. I'll head over there. Say hello. Yes, hello. Okay, so that didn't really tell us that much. It more or less explains that all the other investigations are duds, and Akasaka can get back up if he needs it. What's in the box? Do you believe... Oh no, this her. She's back. Do you believe that there are choices in life? There are many people who lament the following. But there are only existed points in life where the clear choices to make would be able to scrutinize those carefully and make decisions that would lead us to a better future. Every time I hear people lament as such, I cast it off as a rather trivial worry. Even if you were given a clear choice, it wouldn't be meaningful at all. There wouldn't be any such path to a better future. Is this hard to understand? Then let's pretend that in front of you there are two strange boxes. In other words, you have two clear choices. Do you open the red box or the blue box? A lot of things would be uncertain without that choice, wouldn't they? If you don't have the option of opening neither, then your choices boil down to the natural impulses of opening the box that holds the better results for you. Then, after examining the shape and features of each, and pondering a great many things, you have to pick up either the red or the blue. If this was you, which would you open? Red or blue? If you were to go by the traditional meanings, then red would be a dangerous, threatening color. However, that doesn't automatically mean that it would be calm and relaxing inside the blue box either. In fact, it might be that the colors are a trap, make you wary of the red box, and have you open the blue box. A trap? Could it be the contents of the box aren't a reward, but rather a penalty? See? Now you're at loss. You're so conflicted over the choice between red and blue that you start wishing there was no option to open neither and just leave. But there isn't. You have to open either the red box or the blue box. Oh, I forgot to say this, but if you choose one box, the other will disappear. So, you'll never know the contents of the box you don't open. I'll just put that rule at the end there for you. Now, why don't you choose? The red box or the blue box? It's alright. You don't lose anything by picking either one. Come on now. Which one should we do, chat? Which one should we do? I love I love both colors. Blue is not my favorite color growing up, but red. Red. Have you thought about it? In the end, you choose this color, didn't you? As soon as you choose, the other box disappeared. So you can give up on the contents of that one, okay? That's the rule. Now open the box you chose. Inside the box there was a piece of caramel. Caramel. I know you're a little disappointed. Well, that's only natural. No matter how you look at it. Looks like you drew that dud. The correct box might have had a bar of chocolate in it, for all you know. No, in fact, something incredible like a pair of tickets to Hawaii might have been there. But if you wanted to verify that, the other box had already disappeared. There's no way to check now. But if you think about it from an optimistic point of view, just maybe, the other box was empty, and this box was the winner. And being satisfied, or perhaps not, was such a cheap prize. You pop into your mouth and start chewing it happily. So, what do you think in the end? You are given a second chance. Will you try to open the other box? But unfortunately, the chance to choose between the red box or the blue box has come and gone, never to be seen again. The chance to change your selection will never come. Don't your parents often say, every choice you make in life only happens once? So choose carefully. See? Choices aren't that great after all. Aren't you a little delusioned now? Oh, a beautiful little thing made by a witch. The glint in the demon's eye. Yes. So the wake will be from 6 p.m. tomorrow, and the services will be the day afternoon until 1. The venue will be known in Okimiya Seminary Hall. I see. It was Deputy Mayor Izakiya's grandson's funeral we're talking about. We have to pay our respects. Mion, I'll have you go in my stead. Okay, got it. Should I wear mourning clothes? How much should I bring for the funeral offering? You can go in your school uniform. Make sure you button it up properly. For the money, 50. No, 100,000 yen. They did a lot for us. Mia quietly whistled in awe of the exorbitant amount of money her grandmother was offering. Ikezawa-san's been a prudent person ever since his days as head at Okimiya Municipal Office. Even those government types paid me a visit. They always stayed outside. But whenever I offer Ikezawa-san a cup of tea, he'd come inside and carefully listen to what I had to say. He always lent a proper ear to what people had to say. Others should learn from that person like him. The two guests made a show of nodding, making it clear that they were paying attention to Orio's reminiscence. The sight of them trying not to get on Orio's bad side was humorous enough to elicit laughter from Mion occasionally. How young was Deputy Mayor Isaka's grandson when he died? 11 years, apparently. Oreo closed her eyes and shook her head lightly, lamenting the loss of such a young life. If I recall correctly, he said he only had one grandchild. How sad. There's nothing worse for a parent than outliving their offspring.
も他人には優しいね。
You're really nice to other people, Granny.
私やシオン
If
が死
Shion
んだ
or
ら
I
同
died,
じように悲し
will
んで
you
く
be
れ
this
る？
sad?
あほんぬか
Don't be stupid. Saying something like that is bad luck. Having got the reaction she expected, Mion cackled. The two guests, unsure they were supposed to laugh along, instead forced an awkward smile. Well, take our leaves for today then. We'll be by tomorrow evening at 5 o'clock to pick you up. Until then, please, excuse us. After bowing their heads respectfully, repeatedly, the guests left by the front door. Mion saw them off, waving her little hand goodbye.
帰ったよ。
They're gone.
親子
It
にも
must be
抹
rough
茶
for
の
them
ご
to
機
pay
嫌
you
伺い
a
に大変だね。
courtesy visit, Granny.
不法なんか電話でい
You
い
would
と
have
思
been
うよ。
fine if they just broke the news over the phone. Well, it was true that Oriole Zanzaki was a central person for both her relatives and the residents of Hinamisawa village as a whole. As a voting bloc, they numbered in the several thousands. It wasn't hard to imagine the mayor would try to pander to her. Unlike Mion, however, Oreo was looking up longingly at the sky from the veranda.
どうしたの？
What's the matter?
登録し
Are you going to see Niall?
誰のお孫さんであろう
I just thought that no matter whose grandchild it
気
was,
の毒だの
I feel sorry for them. Saying that, she let out a deep sigh. Mion was let down, as normally her grandmother would have scolded her for her attitude.
ミオ
Mion,
これ
you know that
例の
minister's
男の孫
grandson.
さらわれて
How
た
long has it
のかい
been
な
since he was abducted?
うん。
Hmm,
4日。
4 days maybe? So 4 days. So this is taking place, I guess, in the morning of when Akasaka went to the village. So probably right before or right after. Oreo let out another deep sigh.
旧敵の孫
He
と
may be a
いえ
grandchild of our bitter
気の
enemy,
毒だな
but I still feel sorry for him.
そう。
Really?
十
That's
分
enough of a
気は
warning.
済んだろ
We should bring this to
さあ
an
そろ
end
終わりにしちゃれ
soon.
な
The playful expression drained from Mion's face, leaving behind a stern one. And then, as to accusation, Oriole's will looked into her eyes. Oriole's expression, her attention, with only those eyes, looked back into Mion's.
お茶が欲し
I want
い
some
って頼んで
tea. Will you call for
さっきのチョコレートも
some of that chocolate too? Mion gave a small nod, then turned around.
シミコさん、いますか？
Shimako-san, are you
紅
there?
茶入れて
Grandma wants some tea. Can you prepare some? Far away, a voice responded in the affirmative. Mion, after confirming she'd been heard, picked up the phone and began dialing.
あ、もしもし？ミオンだけど。
Hello? This is Mion?
うん。
Yes.
うちのお父さん。
Is my father
い
there?
ます。
Oh, what's she calling her daddy for? What's she calling her daddy for? Alright, let's save this. Put you right there. End of chapter 3. Let's continue just so we can get off the screen. Quit game. Ah, where are you? Where are we? Alright, let me switch back to... Ah, okay. Finally over. Not finally, I was fun reading this. So much greater detail. The manga anime version really did give this story justice. But thank you all for showing up tonight. I really appreciate it. Thank you for listening to me just destroy my throat. I haven't done that in a while. I thought I was getting some breaks with not doing Danganronpa, because doing all those voices, especially for Monokuma, really messes with me. But what's on the schedule for tomorrow? Let's see. Okay, so tomorrow we're doing the Dead Space remake. It's gonna be fun. Again, I'm not sure. I hate to do this, but one of these days of the week, I may need to cancel a stream or move it to earlier the day, because we're gonna have a kind of like a guest show up. Can't really say too much about it. Yeah, one of these streams are gonna either be taken off entirely or moved to probably 1 or 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. But yeah, that's about it. So, hey, let me see. Can we raid somebody who's streaming right now? I hate the raid button on the dashboard. It only shows you the highest people you're subscribed to. It's showing the people with the low numbers. Oh, here we go. Pyro Wolf. They're kind of awesome. I'm gonna send you their way if I can get it right. But yeah, I hope you guys liked it. I hope you don't mind my cringy voice acting. I'm trying to get better. And I think we're actually almost done with this episode. Probably can do it in 3 more streams. There we go. Yeah, this is pretty short for a chapter, but we'll see. So I'm sending you their way. Pyro Wolf, they're playing Dead Cells. Oh, that sounds cool. So show them some love and support, and I will see you all another day. Okay. Catch you all later. Bye-bye.